Welcome to the In My Opinion Show with Ronald Barry Robinson and friends. Before we start this program, I would like to mention October is designated Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Every month should be designated Health Awareness Month. Men and women should get their yearly health exams. Good health is the most important asset you possess. It's not money or other material possessions. Without good health, you have nothing. If you feel sick or have breast abnormalities at any age, make your health care professional do the tests. The right test, or get another doctor that will perform the test. Your life may depend on that, and it's that simple. Don't forget to vote, and when you vote, make your vote count. Vote intelligently. Vote for those that have your interests at heart. Don't vote for name recognitions, friends or neighbors, or elected officials, especially if they have done nothing to enhance your community or your quality of living. Appeal from the In My Opinion Show to all its loyal viewers. Due to the poor economy and joblessness, hundreds of families can't afford to bury their friends or loved ones. They are accumulating in morgue freezers by the hundreds. For more information or to help, please visit website www.may/W restinpeace.org. Let's talk about race mixing. No mixing of races. I'm not a racist. I just don't believe in mixing the races that way. That's how Louisiana Justice of the Peace Keith Bardwell explains. It's almost unbelievable that in 2009, the 21st century, a governmental official is openly and unapologetically telling people who they can and can't marry. What isn't unbelievable is that when blatant bigotry and violations of the law like this occur, the ACLU is the first place people turn to, and that is what Beth Humphreys and Terrence McKay did when their right to marry was denied by Keith Bardwell's outrageous actions. We're demanding an investigation and urging that he receive the most severe sanction possible. The question is what should the sanction be? Should his license be practiced? Should his license to practice be revoked? Should he be put on some kind of probation or other? To contact ACLU, just type in ACLU on your computer and hit enter. Or write ACLU 125 Broad Street, 18th floor, New York, 1009. What do you think about this outrageous behavior of this justice in Louisiana, Mr. Dix?
Well, thanks for first having me on again for In My Opinion. And I like to point out that Justice Barth is obviously anti-black and anti-white, if you will. When you begin to talk about not allowing individuals to get married for fear that they will have children, and to suggest that the children will be inferior due to this DNA coming together. Keeping in mind that 23 chromosomes from the male and 23 from the woman, and out of that will be some fear that they may become inadequate. Such ignorance does not surprise me that it's prevailing in Louisiana. After all, Louisiana was one of the main states that during the period of slavery the officials down there were decapitating black men and placing their heads at the entrance or the boundaries of entering into Louisiana, and posted them about 10 to 15 miles or per post, per area, per square mile, to let individuals know that if you are entering into Louisiana, this is what will happen to you. So this such racist philosophy is just outdated. It's dangerous, and that tells us, it should send a message. How many others believe that? And if they're not saying it, they're wearing the robe and continue to conduct business on the bench in the mayor's office, in the Senate, in the House of Representatives, and in the structures of powers. There's individuals who are wielding such influence to make decisions. Now, what is obviously needed is for him to be removed. But from my understanding, that's going to be a difficult process, and that's going to really there's a need for higher intervention. So he certainly need to be removed because obviously he has an intrinsic psychosis that he's superior, and which amounts to bigotry.
Henry, what is your opinion on this outrageousness of this person in Louisiana? Is this indicative of other justices of the peace in the South?
Well, not Clow.
Not Clow. Okay.
Certainly, Ron, this justice of the peace could not live next to me, nor could he be my friend. But let's say, for the argument, what laws did he violate? So that we can get to the crux of the problem. How do we handle this guy? We got to know what laws he violated. Did he violate a local ordinance? Did he violate a city ordinance? Did he violate a state law or the constitutional law? If he violated none of them, he could do what he does. He said it was a belief of his. He says, I don't believe in this because it'll result in inferior kids. Well, he's by himself in that. Mm-hmm. Because most of the population don't have any objections to interracial marriages. Now, this is the baby boomers, the X and Y generations. They've left that behind. So we need to look ahead. We need to focus on something new, something different. And because this guy says this, we need not be threatened by him, because I feel no threats at all by this guy. The rest of the population is not listening to him. He did white people a real big disservice by saying that he prohibited this young lady from being married. He took away a prerogative of hers that's guaranteed in the constitutional law. So they should be outraged as well as we, but they don't seem to be too concerned. So I don't suggest that we get too much concerned about it, because his statement does not result in violence. They don't do anything. They make us amused, but they don't threaten us.
Yeah, but they filed a complaint with the American Civil Liberties Union, all right? And yeah. From what I understand, there's going to be a lawsuit. I mean, is this guy tantamount to the Rush Limbaugh? What do we call him, Rush Limbaugh of the South or Louisiana?
Rush Limbaugh does not run the country.
No, but
he doesn't run the Republican Party either.
Well, I don't know.
He's a mouthpiece in it, but he does not run the country.
Well, he doesn't own a football team either.
No.
Thank goodness.
But I just appeal to people to be calm and don't become engaged in something that doesn't amount to a hill of beans.
Okay. Just into the In My Opinion message board. How did he pass the bar examination? These are from a book called Disorder in the American Courts and Are Things People Actually Said in Court. Attorney, this myasthenia gravis, does it affect your memory at all? Witness, yes. Attorney, and in what way does it affect your memory? Witness, I forgot. Attorney, you forgot. Can you give us an example of something you forgot? Attorney, now doctor, isn't it true that when a person dies in his sleep, he doesn't know about it until the next morning? Witness, did you actually pass the bar exam? Attorney, the youngest son, the 20-year-old, how old is he? He's 20, much like your IQ. Attorney, were you present when your picture was taken? Witness, are you shitting me? Attorney, so the date of conception of the baby was August 8th? Witness, yes. Attorney, and what were you doing at that time? Witness, getting laid. Attorney, she had 3 children, right? Witness, yes. Attorney, how many were boys? Witness, none. Attorney, were there any girls? Witness, Your Honor, I think I need a different attorney. Can I get a new attorney? Attorney, how was your first marriage terminated? Witness, by death. Attorney, and by whose death was it terminated? Witness, take a guess. Attorney, can you describe the individual Witness, he was about medium height and had a beard. Attorney, was this a male or female? Witness, unless the circus was in town, I'm going with male. Attorney, is your appearance here this morning pursuant to a deposition notice which I sent to your attorney? Witness, no, this is how I dress when I go to work. It's a real idiot attorney, isn't it? Attorney, doctor, how many of your autopsies have you performed on dead people? Witness, all of them. The live ones put up too much of a fight. Attorney, all your responses must be in oral. Okay. What school did you go to? Witness, oral. Just following the attorney's advice. Attorney, do you recall the time that you examined the body? Witness, the autopsy started around 8:30 p.m. Attorney, and Mr. Denton was dead at that time. Witness, if not, he was by the time I finished. Attorney, are you qualified to give a urine sample? Witness, are you qualified to ask that question? And the best for last. Attorney, doctor, before you performed the autopsy, did you check for a pulse? Witness, no. Attorney, did you check for blood pressure? Witness, no. Attorney, did you check for breathing? Witness, no. Attorney, so then it's possible that the patient was alive when you began the autopsy? Witness, no. Attorney, how can you be so sure? Doctor, how can you be so sure, doctor? Witness, because his brain was sitting on my desk in a jar. Attorney, I see, but could the patient have still been alive nevertheless? Witness, yes, it's possible that he could have been alive and practicing law. Run like hell, folks, if you get an attorney like this. I mean, run like the dickens. We're going to change gears here. President Obama to go after CEOs and executive bonuses paid or due to employees of bailed-out corporations such as Ford, General Motors, AIG, Citibank, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, and others. The bonuses are to be paid back at 90%. It's about damn time those corporate greed mongers created the worst financial crisis since the Great Depression of the 1920s, and as a result of this greed, millions of Americans are bankrupt and are suffering and will suffer for years to come. Let's take this a step further. How about a 90% pay cut for all those asshole political appointees and politicians in Washington that allowed this fiscal disaster to happen? Just a thought. I was led to believe that bonuses are and were paid out to achievers for jobs well done. I was wrong. This bonus money belongs to the American taxpayers, and we want it back. To contact In My Opinion Show, please email us at inmyopinionrbr@att.net. Mr. Hatter, what do you think about this 90% payback bonuses that President Obama is suggesting?
Okay, the first thing I would like to say is that we've got to keep the governance of corporations and institutions segmented differently than government. And corporations may do what they will because it's internal. It's private enterprise, okay? They can give the bonuses. But they may not come back to government and ask them to bail out the corporation.
Yeah, but how could that be justified to give them these bonuses when the taxpayers that's the taxpayer money? They screwed up the whole country with this greed.
I don't doubt that. That's not my argument. Yes, they did. But to go inside of a corporation and say, here is criteria for giving bonuses and stuff like that, I don't think that that's our business as government. But I do think that you can do it through the IRS revenue code. And there's a legal way to do it, but to interfere with private enterprise to that degree, I'm afraid that I would find that difficult to embrace. But I do think that what President Obama has asked them to do, if they did the right thing in getting rid of the CEO of General Motors Corporation. I think that that was a good move there. But to deal with private enterprise for the sake of going in and directing how they pay their people is probably not the best interest of government. But I think the government, on the other hand, ought to have some way of exercising controls over how much money they give their top echelon when they are requesting federal money. I think there's the criteria. I think that now that Barack Obama has an opportunity in this circumstance to go back and direct to them. But when the country is stable and corporations are stable, government should not intervene in this process. Not with businesses and corporations. But in this case, you raise a good point because they've asked us to bail them out. So he can set criteria there, the president can. He should set.
Well, that's what I'm
criteria.
speaking about, is
Yeah.
the companies that were bailed out
Yeah.
with taxpayer
I
dollars.
agree with you.
Okay? He should more than make them give back that 90% because they're the ones that brought the nation down, you know what I mean, almost to the abyss. And have destroyed literally millions of people life. All right, people are committing suicide, jumping off of buildings. Just recently, one of Madoff's buddies was found at the bottom of his pool. All right, well maybe that was good because he probably was in on the greed scam too. Mr. Dix, what's your thoughts?
Well, I think that was a hit. But I'll say this. The corporations of United States of America. Now, let me say that again. The corporation of the United States of America. This America was hijacked by the corporations. Now, this wasn't so when the country was founded. But since that time, it has been hijacked by the corporations. And they own the United States. So let's take it from there. For that reason, every citizen, consumer that is born into debt. So you incur debt the second you are born from your mother's womb. And the truth is, since the Great Depression, every 70 years, there's this illusion of a crisis, a debt. Okay, America has been broke, has actually been bankrupt for 100 years, and we have this illusion that this is another crisis. This is a crisis is simply an opportunity to restructure everything. So anyone who is in debt can now receive new debt. Okay, and the truth is that this country is heading for financial collapse in the credit market, much similar to the housing bubble that burst. The credit bubble, it's going to burst. The bills or notes that are being printed are printed and cost 2 cents to print bills. And the truth is there is no more money. And so for the consumer that's out there, save your money. And it's probably better to buy a United States Postal Service money orders and not write them out to anybody. Just save them. You'll be better off in the next system that's about to occur. So, in my opinion, as the show calls, I believe that we ought to look at other ways of saving our money and not get so panicky about these bonuses because the money's worth nothing. It seems like they're having fun, but these millionaires are going to be lighting up $1,000 bills and smoking them as cigars. They're worth nothing. Today, we think that's really something, that they have all this money. They don't have any money. It's just a matter of time. The system is getting ready to collapse.
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you think the nation is on the verge of a revolution? Or should we be on the verge of a revolution, or is that something we should entertain?
Well, the preparation for any revolution, it starts in the mind of people, and I can only tell you that it would be probably unsafe, and certainly it would be dangerous to take the streets and try and overturn a system The fact is, if you look around, and I've said this on this show many, many years ago, that if you look at our streets, the infrastructure, the streets, the bridges, every time you cross over a bridge, look at how it is made. It is reinforced with concrete as opposed to the streets that are built with asphalt, and the entrance of these are concrete. Why is that? Because it is a preparation for the tanks to come in and come across these bridges, and Apache helicopters and so on and so forth to land here. There is this some thought of a revolution would be a catastrophe.
Yeah, but isn't that what Paul Revere and his folks were saying when they revolted?
Well, yeah,
against England.
They revolted against England, but where did they go? They either got destroyed or they left the country.
No, they kicked the English's ass out of America, and the people took back, and actually the people took the country.
Well, the history of America and how it is written is so convoluted, and that there's a disillusion. Some people believe that Barack Obama is the first black president, when Dwight D. Eisenhower is the first black president. Okay.
Yeah, but see, that's confusing too, because that's not true.
Well, he's the second black president. I'm sorry.
The first black president
was John Hanson. Okay. It was John Hanson. But on paper, when we start looking at presidencies, Dwight D. Eisenhower's mother was noticeably, visibly black. And that came out in the Life magazine in 1960.
So it was Jefferson's and Adams?
Well, I'm talking about the mother of Eisenhower, and so that made him black. So, but the point being here is that any revolution or consideration of a revolution would be quite dangerous for any citizens to take the streets. And I'm not saying you don't do it if that's what you want to do, but just be.
Well, no, I'm just asking the question.
Sure. The point is that one way that you change is that you have to understand the rules, and when you understand the rules, the game, then you learn how to play by the rules, and then when you understand the rules, the game will change. So the fact is that people need to understand the rules, and one way of beginning to look at how to get out of the system is to look at the laws, because for every law there's another law that counteracts it. But revolutionary positions are not really something that individuals would want to do.
I'd have to go along with Richard on that. Revolution is not something that you want to do.
No.
But what we need to do is evolve ourselves out of it. And you're right, Richard, and so are you, Mr.
And one of the things that they did is that when we look at England and the Boston Tea Party and the celebrations, is that they began to look at the tax system, and they began to say, hey, look, we're going to make some changes here. And they were able to escape to another country that offered hope, and that country was America. And I say was because it's no longer what it was. This is a corporation. And we have to understand that corporations run this. This is a business. And unless you are an owner of a small business, you're going to suffer.
The irony is that corporations must exist. Businesses must exist.
Sure.
Because it's the only way to generate national wealth. We generate national wealth through corporations and through businesses. So they're a necessary evil. But I will admit that in recent years, they have taken advantage of the natural resources of the American people. All resources belong to the American people, not to corporations, not to Barack Obama, not to Madoff or anybody else. They belong to collectively the American people. And they have
the debt does. The debt.
And the debt that they generate. but corporations have raped
Absolutely.
the Americans' national resources for their own benefit. And this is where government has to come in with the right intentions, with a good intention, to reinstitute and correct the pathway so that the country does belong to the American people. Because if we don't, then you're going to have what you say is most likely to happen. we would probably divide up and crack up like a real
Absolutely.
ripe watermelon.
At this time, this is my commentary. The In My Opinion show is devoted to the proposition that an economic system that can't or won't feed, clothe, provide living wage jobs, quality and affordable health care, and house its people ought to be and will be changed. To that end, the In My Opinion show is a tribute to the people. It is a voice for millions struggling for survival. It strives to educate politically those millions on the basis of their own experience. It is a tribute crying out for humanity and change, bringing millions together. We want a brighter future to create a vision of a better world. We find ourselves at a historic moment as labor replacing technology leads us on a path toward the decisive reconstruction of society. Who will win, the capitalists or the growing masses of the poor? This nation's future will depend on winning the hearts and minds of people to create a society whose fruits benefit all. We offer our platform on the In My Opinion show as a vehicle for the new ideas rooted in our reality and to be the voice of those millions who seek to raise the consciousness of society. Let us gather our collective experiences, intelligence, and commitment to bring forth a vision that changes America into a society by the people, of the people, for the people. This is Ronald Berry Robinson and friends saying, for the